Hello, motherfuckers. This is how we're gonna start every single podcast now.
I think so.
We gotta come up with our own intro like that.
Yeah, I think that you do it the best so far. I always laugh.
But we need a new slogan.
Yeah, I think we need a new slogan.
Like we could say the name of the podcast, but we need like an intro to say hello and then something else.
I think so. We'll figure it out though.
Hello, Team Anal.
Whoa.
Okay.
But
I mean Team Beep.
I know, right? We're going to get
Team Beep.
those beeping sounds. But what are we talking about today?
Okay. Well, this is a very sporadic podcast again. I think we have the best podcast when we kind of just like, okay, let's do it right now. Because things just pop up in the head. And I think that we need to have a podcast about fitness, right? We're both fitness people. And, both of us, we preach the fact that everybody needs their own custom routine. What I do, what you do doesn't work for other people. But besides that fact, I know that people are dying to know what we do anyway. So I think we should just talk about that. Our own personal fitness journeys and how we train and how we approach all of this, like training, nutrition, everything, and how we make it all work with our lives.
Yeah, I think, would you like to start? Would you like me to start?
You go ahead, Mr. King.
Awesome. So, I guess I'll start
Cowboy.
Cowboy, what is it?
Cowboy, Achilles, Lucky Charm, King.
Oh, that's my introduction.
Yes.
But I guess I started training at 14. And my mom bought me my first weight set at 14 years old. And
I love your mom.
Yeah, my mom
even though I have not met her.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Mom. As you know, she passed away this year. But I was a movie buff. I would watch movies every day. And
you didn't move or exercise or anything. Is that what you mean?
Well, of course. Well, in the beginning, probably not. But
yeah.
I was infatuated with martial art movies. I would watch Bruce Lee, #1 fan, and then Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, every day. So eventually, when I first saw Rocky, I think, all the series, but Rocky 4 really inspired me, and that's when I was like, "Hey, Mom, I want a punching bag and I want some weights." And she was like, "All right, well, we'll figure it out." We were very poor. Sometimes I just don't understand how she figured it out, but she always figured it out when I wanted something. So I got my first weight set and almost died. Did I tell you the story?
Wait, you might have. Okay, well, obviously say it again. Why do I feel like so many of our podcast episodes like I almost died?
No, I'm not even kidding. I really, I had it was so weird. I had this routine and I had this belief in my head that, getting a gallon of milk would get me muscles.
Yeah.
I'd get a gallon of milk and go downstairs to the basement, and that's what I would train. And I'll put some music on or whatever. And I was like, all right, I'm going to start this bench. So nobody was home. And I started my bench and I started adding more weight and more weight.
Is this right in the beginning? Had you trained before, or are you like
Never
newbie now?
Ever. I'm a super newbie.
So
I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
How did you know what to do, or how did you think you knew what to do? From the movies?
From the movies, pretty much. Yeah, okay. I thought I was going to implement what they did, and I was like, let me apply it. So I started stacking on weight and whatever, and then...
Just like, let's do this. Let's just put a bunch of weight on, because I have no idea how much I can lift, but this sounds like a good idea.
Horrible idea. So I started stacking on weights, and then I did my first bench press. I think after maybe a set or two, I don't know what sets meant back then.
Yeah.
The weight collapsed on my chest, and I couldn't get it up.
You mean the whole bar?
The whole bar. The whole bar. Yeah, the whole bar collapsed on my chest, and nobody was home, and I couldn't get it off my chest. I was like, Mom, screaming because it was so heavy, and I couldn't get it off my chest, and I couldn't breathe because it was literally right on my chest. So I was like trying to wiggle my way out of it, and I couldn't. So what I started doing was leaning on one side and leaning. Finally, the weight would collapsed on the left-hand side and whatever. And I was like, well, I'm not doing that again.
I remember this story. Didn't you say it was those screw-on weights or something?
Yeah, they were
that didn't actually slide off?
No, they didn't slide off. They were screw-ons.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the material was then. It was
I'm going to think a lot of people don't even know what a screw-on weight is. I have never even used that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, yeah, that was what I used at the time, and that was my journey. And then boxing was my first love. So I started boxing. early ages, and then around my early 20s, I started gaining weight. Stopped boxing, stopped doing cardio, stopped training, and I was in marketing. So I would literally go to McDonald's every week, 3 to 4 times a week, and then order the same thing all the time. It would be 3 double cheeseburgers.
Would you eat them all at the same time?
Quarter pounders. They were quarter pounders, I think. And large fry and a Coke every time. And sometimes I go back because
Do you remember at all what you were thinking like back then? Do you remember like you would just go in there and like, oh, this is healthy food, or you just don't remember?
I didn't even care if it was healthy or not. I just knew it was good, you know. So, and then I started noticing how I noticed that I was gaining. You know what's fun? I didn't even notice I was gaining weight. There were times where I'd wake up early in the morning, and I used to wear suits and button-up shirts. So I would try to put the last button on, and I'd be sweating because it took me 3 minutes. Oh, really? 3 minutes to put the button on. I never realized it.
Do you know what you weighed back then? Do you have any idea?
About 200 pounds, around 200 plus pounds. Yeah,
and
200 plus.
You were how tall? Like just so people can have an idea.
I mean, I think when do you stop growing? I think after 18, I was like 5'9", 5'10". I'm 5'10" now.
And 200 pounds, and that was not muscle. That was
definitely not muscle.
Mostly fat, yeah.
Muscle.
I mean, I've seen pictures.
Oh, you saw the pictures?
Oh, you know what we should do? I'll just edit in a picture on the video recording of this.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, put it in there.
Boom, here it is.
Boom, there it is. You see it there? It's right over my finger.
Yeah.
But no,
not at all.
So
it was actually here.
Oh, here. Sorry. But so yeah, I gained all this weight, and the first time I finally realized it, I was with my friend Ernest. Ernest, if you're watching this, you remember this. He took a picture of me in line of McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I was like, oh my God.
Do you have the picture still?
I'm going to ask him if we could send
Please,
it. Yeah.
Yes.
He took the picture and I saw my neck, and literally it was like a turkey.
You need to use it for a before and after picture.
Yeah, no. But I have a before and after picture on my Instagram. So I saw that and I was like, whoa, that's me. Wow. And I instantly started experimenting on how to eat.
Yeah.
And obviously, like everybody else does, they starve themselves.
Because that's what you think works, right?
You think,
we've all been there.
So what I was living at the time, I was living with a friend of mine, and he's Cambodian. His mom would wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and cook a buffet of food every single day.
Healthy food or no?
Fried chicken, fried pork, fried steak.
Every day?
Every single day.
How do they look? That family?
No, they weren't overweight.
They were not?
No, they weren't overweight. So
were they not eating a lot, or you just think they're that kind of body type that wouldn't put on a lot of weight from that?
I don't think they were eating a lot. I think I was the one eating a lot because I had a big appetite.
They cooked it, but they had maybe small portions. Yeah,
I had big portions. So I started gaining weight. And then, so what I started to do, because that was the only option of food for me at the time, I was cutting my meals in half. And I was like, oh, maybe I could cut my meals in half. And then I started becoming hungrier. Yeah. And I would starve. I feel like I'm starving in the middle of the night. So
was it very difficult for you to do this?
Very difficult.
The cut it in half. Are you the kind of person who likes to eat?
And you see me in restaurants. I mean, I eat like 2 burgers and one.
Oh, yeah, I know. I think I'm gonna say we both. I mean, I have a food addiction. Yeah. And I know that I need to talk about it more because people don't really realize. And I just happen to be that body type, but I'm gonna get into it more. But definitely bad food addiction. Yeah.
Yeah, so after that, and then struggling with weight. I mean, putting on weight, dropping weight, not dropping massive amounts of weight, but just dropping weight. Were you
training at this point or no?
I started jogging, and then
just cardio. Then.
Just cardio, just cardio, not really lifting. And then I started implementing some lifting, but I didn't have the time, quote unquote, to lift. Yeah. And finally, when I really,
Speaking of, what is this quote unquote?
Yeah, because
why do you say quote unquote? Are they
just
on top of each other?
Well, that's just a phrase and it's an expression. I'm like, oh, I thought you were being serious.
I don't even know what we say. In Sweden, I had a teacher who would always be like this.
Oh,
while she was talking, like with the fingers in the air, she would be like, so-called. Oh, she would always talk about the bullies. Bullies.
Oh my gosh.
With the fingers. But we don't have like a saying, like quote unquote. That was a side note.
So
Keep going.
no, it's okay. So yeah, when I moved to Florida, everything changed. Like I saw real lifters. I went to LA Fitness and I saw these guys. And what changed my mindset was watching CT Fletcher train in the gym. CT Fletcher, Mike Rashid, and I started implementing their type of training.
You mean you saw them online or you actually saw them in the gym?
No, the online. So CT Fletcher would be like swearing, like, what the fuck? That's your fucking set, all this other stuff. And I was like, man, I got to start training like that. I've been training like a little girl. Training like a little girl. And I didn't know I wasn't even squatting prior to me moving to Florida. So I learned how to squat in Florida.
When did you move here? How long ago?
2012.
Okay.
And then shout out to Kevin for teaching me how to squat. So I started squatting. Then I started deadlifting. And when I watched the video of Mike Rashid, him doing 300 reps, everything changed from there. My body started changing, and I started eating.
Did you start doing 300 reps?
Yeah, 300 reps in terms of...
Wait, not in one set, right?
No. It's multiple sets. So you put 9 plates on each side, and you do 10 each plate.
9 plates on each side?
9 plates on each side, and then you do a drop set. So you do the first drop set.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you bring it back up, though.
So you just go until failure, basically, on
until you hit 300 reps.
Yeah, but for each, before you take plates off. So you go to failure for every plate, so to speak?
It's 10 reps.
10 reps,
yeah,
okay.
10 reps. And then you go back up. So you drop,
you go
do
back
a drop
up to
set,
the 9 plates
and then you
again?
go back. Yes. Yeah.
I like it.
Dope exercise. And and then changed.
Yo, if you're not puking and crying when you're done, did you even train?
Yeah. Best pump you ever get in your life.
Did you ever throw up?
Oh, yeah, of course.
You
I
have?
threw up. Hell yeah, I've thrown up.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I've
never
thrown up.
actually have, but I've been very close to it.
I threw up in the gym doing my very first quote-unquote leg day.
I was scaring off all the listeners that don't train.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys, you don't have to do this, but...
I think I threw up 3
if
times.
you want to be above the average person, if you want to reach a level, that's why not everybody is like this. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, training legs with you, almost threw up the other day.
You certainly gave up before the last exercise.
Which one? When we first
Both
trained?
you and Carlos both gave up.
We didn't
I was
give
the
up,
only one
but
to finalize. I was the only one doing the burnout.
It's not that we gave up. I had a... when it talks... When I pulls me over...
You gave up on the first time we did that too.
Oh, yeah. No, for the first time, I could definitely admit, you killed me. But yeah, going back to that, started training. Then I met actually, this is crazy. So I started seeing this coach in the gym that was training people, and he's a bodybuilding coach. So I was like, man, I want to do bodybuilding now.
Yeah.
I came up to him and I was like, hey man, I want to do bodybuilding. And he looked at me and he's like, oh, take off your shirt. And I was like, all right, cool. He's like, you can't do bodybuilding. You're way too small. I was like, damn. And I was like, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to train you, man. You need to put a lot of size on.
It's a very old school thinking coach, right?
Yeah. So, but I met another old school thinking coach. His name is Dave. Shout out to Coach Dave. And he took me in, did bodybuilding, 170, lightweight. And then I got my certification. And then I started getting a bunch of certifications in training. And then here I am. So, yeah, that's kind of my story.
So do you think that, since you started training seriously versus now, have you changed the way you train somehow?
Oh, of course. What do you mean? What do you mean training?
Your technique or the way you train. Do you know what I mean?
Just elaborate a little bit more. I'm not sure what you mean.
Because I remember, just to say, when I started lifting, when I didn't know much about it, what I thought was that increasing my weight in the gym, that was the highest priority of all.
Oh, of course.
All I wanted to do was just go heavier and heavier and heavier, and I didn't really care about my form or the fact that I could get injured or that, nothing was proper. While when I train today, I never do that.
Yeah.
I never train like that. I definitely go heavy, but if I can't keep my form, if I don't have full control of the movement and know what the fuck I'm doing, I'm not going to do it. So in that way, I've completely changed the way I train. I'm not saying it's anything wrong with training and go your max weight, because people ask me all the time, oh, how much do you bench press? What's your max rep on deadlift? What's your max rep on squat? I don't train like that. I never do. I don't know what my max rep is because I never do 1 rep. I will never, ever go under. It's very rare that I go under 10 reps, but maybe I'll go to like 8. But that's about it. I never go under that. And that is the way I train, and that is what works and makes me the progress that I want. But if you're a power lifter or something like that, a strength, like if you compete in your strength, that's a whole different kind of training.
I agree.
So I'm not saying it's anything wrong. I'm just curious, like when you started training versus what you do today.
Oh, it was heavy lifting. Like everything was heavy. Right? Everything was heavy. I mean, the ego was high in the gym. It was all about that 1 rep. It was all about how much plates you got in the bar and all that. So now, I've been educated. It's not about that. It's about high reps and high sets, especially in bodybuilding. And, you train a lot of isolation, time under tension, very slow movements, because you're building muscle now and you're focusing on muscle growth and, trying to look symmetrically pleasing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This is obviously very different from somebody that competes in strength. And I'm going to say, like, once in a while, I will do something a little more crazy or a little heavier or something. But overall, I would never, I always, medium to heavyweight, yes, but never extremely heavy, ever. Also, I don't want to be injured. I have a lot of injuries. I had a question on my tongue, but I forgot. Can you see it?
Question?
There was a question for you on my tongue. Do you not say that here? In Sweden, we say, if you're going to say something, but you forget what it was, it's like on the tip of my tongue, right? So I'm asking if you can
Why
see it.
Why am I that dumb? I'm really that dumb that looked at your tongue. I thought you had a tattoo, because you began coming up with these tattoos out of nowhere. I'm like, damn, did she tattoo her tongue now?
I forgot what I was going to ask.
But what
Why is it so hot in here?
Yeah, we fixed the AC. It should be a little better now.
I need a sip.
But what about you? Like, how did you start getting into training and all that? I'd love to know this.
I have a dad who's very much into sports, very athletic always. Not a bodybuilder in any way, but he did sports. He played tennis. He what else did he do? He was running, I think. He was like best in his school, like running, whatever. He actually played professional bowling as well. He just did like a million different things. And when I was a kid, my dad said, I don't care what you do, but you have to do something. You have to be active. You have to do a sport or something. You can do whatever you want, but you got to do something. So obviously the first thing I did was try tennis, because my dad played tennis. So he brought me to play, and I loved it. I actually played for I think 12 or 13 years. I had a private coach several times a week. I got really good at it. I haven't played in so long. I kind of want to do it someday just to see if I still got it, So yeah, I was playing tennis. Then I started dancing as well. So I was playing tennis, dancing. I went through all kinds of dancing. I did like jazz. I did a little bit of break dance. I did like show dance, musical dance, like when you dance and sing at the same time. A lot of people in my family are very musical. My aunt is a singer. Like everybody plays an instrument. So I think I got a part of that, even though I never really got into it, because I've always been super, super hyper and active. So I just need to move. I need to do things where I move and on an extreme level. So the tennis was great. I think I get good at it because I'm just like running. So I played tennis for a long time. I actually started even competing a little bit, but the moment when I turned 18, I was like, hell no, now I'm gonna party. I don't have time for this shit, So I stopped when I was 18, which I'm not gonna say I regret it, but yeah, you're not very smart. I just wanted to party and have fun with my friends. So I still trained, but at that time I was just partying and doing like cardio stuff, or not even cardio like that. I would do a lot of classes and like boot camp and stuff. Anything hit, because I had like this time in my life, like not even, I don't know, like a year or something, when I got really chubby. Out of the blue, I think it was the alcohol that was doing it, and I started getting a little obsessed with this whole. It's that I come from Sweden, and we're not, in general, people are not very overweight. Also, like the ideal for a woman, or what the ideal of what you want to look like, is like a skinny supermodel, right? You want no curves. You want, listen to this. You want no ass. Seriously, you want it like the fucking skinnier you are, and just the smaller everything is, the better. So that's what I, in my mind, envisioned that I wanted to be. And can you believe that? Like today, I'm like, if I am too skinny, I need to get bigger, you know? So I just wanted to be skinny. So I did a lot of cardio. I even tried those like dumb things like the juice diet. Try to like starve myself, but also I have an eating addiction. I really do. So my way, which is, I still do it in the same way, but in a controlled, planned way now. I would basically not eat, like very minimal throughout the week, and then I would stuff my face to just until I pass out on the weekend. So, which is not a good way to do it. So I said, these days I still kind of do that, because as a food addict, like I need my binge eating. I'm never going to stop binge eating. I can't stop doing that. I need those days, but I've figured out a way how to do it, and you do it in a good way now. I still eat a lot every day. I also grew a lot of muscle, so my body can handle it better. So yeah, I was doing all these stupid juice diets, like cardio, like madness, and I was still chubby, not realizing that all this alcohol that I was consuming like throughout the whole week obviously didn't really do it. I would be gaining that weight regardless, even though I was eating little, because I was drinking a lot of alcohol. And what do you think after you get drunk? What do you want then? McDonald's and shit, right? So just eat shit after. And then I remember also, I hate to cook. I absolutely hate to cook. Always hated it. I do food photography these days, which is different though. I still to this day hate cooking food that I need to eat. That's why I have an air fryer, cook everything in an air fryer. Sorry, future husband. I mean, on occasion, I like to cook something nice, but not on a daily basis, no. So I started eating cottage cheese and canned tuna because it was easy and fast. It was also like relatively healthy, you know? So I would be bringing this to work every day. And people are like, are you eating cat food? What the fuck is going on over there? But I said I was too, like, I hated cooking so much that I was like, I'm going to do this. This is just what I'm eating now. And I think to an extent it kind of worked. Like I did get kind of skinny. Still like not understanding it all. I didn't weigh anything. I didn't understand, you know, that I needed part cardio, carbs, part fat, part protein. I didn't really understand. Cottage cheese and tuna. Yeah, I mean, you hear that doesn't come out well. That's basically just like protein and fats, maybe a little bit of carbs, but definitely not enough. Then for some time too, I would eat a lot of pasta, I remember. But believe it or not, when I was younger, I didn't like meat. I didn't like any sort of protein. I liked carbs, which I still do, but I would be eating a bowl of pasta with nothing on. Just the pasta. It's so funny. Like I was like, nah, I don't want any meat on this. Also, I hated red meat. I'm not sure why. I think I just never had a really good piece of red meat. So I didn't eat red meat until I was like 27 maybe.
Wow.
It's a long time, right? I used to always like fish when I was younger. But that was about it. My favorite meal when I was little was like this. It's almost like a lasagna thing, but with fish. I don't even know what I would call it. It's like fish ravioli and stuff. My mom would like bake it fresh.
I'm just talking. So I said fish ravioli. So
I don't think I've ever had that.
I'm just making disgusting stuff up.
These days, I don't even like pasta. I don't like pasta at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would be eating that, and then I would do the cottage cheese tuna, which worked. And then I started lifting weights. Actually, I started lifting weights the first time when I was 15, but I lifted with my guy friends. So I would be trained like the guys, you know? I didn't know. I would train the exact same way. And what do you think we did? No legs. Just a bunch of upper body.
Whoa. Not all guys.
No,
I'm just
we're
messing.
15 years old. We don't know anything better,
I'm
you know?
messing around.
No, definitely not. But back then, I mean, I would probably do legs once in a blue moon or something. But that's it. And then I started growing muscle on my upper body and started, you know, it got a little bit too much. So everybody's different. We grow different. So my traps started growing a lot. And I didn't like what that looked like. So I kind of just not stopped lifting weights, but I just like, nah, this is not for me. So I started doing a bunch of classes. Like there was this, I don't know what it's called. There was like this, it's kind of like a air boxing class, but you hold little weights in your hands. Stuff like that I would do, and like aerobic stuff and classes, but with weights, but you were using lightweight. So I still started growing muscle, you know, and I was started to look better, but I still did a lot of cardio, tons of cardio, because we all think that you have to do a shit ton of cardio to lose weight, right? And then when I was, you know, so I said I lost weight, no abs, absolutely no abs. And we know today that I can get 9 of them. But I had no abs. When I was 26, I moved to the States, never seen my abs. And I mean never seen a single one of them. Then I decided to do, why did I do this? I was going to do a photo shoot. Like I've been a photographer since I was 18, but I had never done modeled for a shoot. So I moved to the States. My neighbor was a photographer. He wanted to do a photo shoot with me. I was like, oh, this is cool, you know? Mm-hmm. So I was like, I need to get in shape for this photo shoot. So I went on a prep, you know, just Google, like, how do you, what does, you know, fitness people do to lean up? So I found somewhere, I guess, a diet online. And remember now, so this is my first time in my entire life doing a proper diet. So obviously I looked insane after that. Like my abs were crazy. It's always funny, like when I go on prep now, I look great, but it doesn't come as easy as it did back then. I had no food scale. All I ate was chicken and rice and eggs. Wow. And I mean, I didn't weigh anything. I didn't know. I would be eating chicken and rice fucking 7 times a day. Like I just, you know, chicken and rice, because I started realizing that I needed carbs, right? Because I was training hard. So I was like, no, I need to eat the carbs. So I lost a bunch of weight and I looked fucking crazy. Like I looked really good. I gotta find these pictures somewhere. And it's like, yeah, I had a bunch of abs, obviously, upper body, no legs really. The legs, I get really tiny in the lower body because I'd never trained really hard on lower body. I trained them, but I also didn't know about body types when I was young. I didn't know, like, I'm an ectomorph. I didn't know what that meant. So did that. Then lived in New York City for a while, met Dana Lynn Bailey on Times Square, just kind of by accident, just walked by and I was like, oh, what's this? And I'd heard of her. I said hi, and she was just such a sweetheart. Got super inspired. I'm like, I'm going to compete.
Shout out to Rob Bailey. His birthday just passed yesterday, day before yesterday, yesterday.
Happy birthday, Rob.
Happy birthday, Rob.
Yes, I'm super inspired by her. She was obviously Miss Olympia then, and she was, you know, very muscular. So I saw her and I was like, I don't know if I want to be that muscular, but no, this is my goal now. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to be a bodybuilder, you know? So same there. I didn't have a coach or anything. I just Googled, like, how to compete in bodybuilding. So started going on prep, but I remember I had a friend of mine who did not know much about fitness, but he told me that his brother was a professional bodybuilder and he had heard that his brother ate this and did that and whatever. So I did what he told me. Basically was cut out almost all the carbs.
Oh my God.
I said I didn't know any better, but he told me that, and he obviously knew better than me. And the same, I Googled online, which is, don't do that. Please don't Google online. You never know who the moron is who put that information out. So I did 2 hours of cardio a day. Weightlifting, I was in the gym like 4 hours a day. So weightlifting, I trained hard and heavy. I'm going to say I trained way heavier than I do these days. And I was tiny, 115 pounds. Today, when I go on stage with very minimal body fat, I'm 130 pounds. So imagine how tiny I was. I'm 5'8", 115 pounds. Trained heavy as a beast. Did 2 hours of cardio a day. Cut down on the carbs a lot. I remember I was so crampy and shit. And I also cut out my salt and, all that dumb stuff. Oh, God. Did NPC, bikini. Placed like horrible. Maybe not last, but almost. Because I was so lean. Like I had all my abs were out then. Like crazy. But also I would be training abs several times a week with 45-pound plates.
Wow.
Like I can't even do that today. I don't know what the hell, like how I did that shit.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you and your take on that in a minute.
Yeah. So training. So I said a lot of the size I have today, my upper body and my abs, it comes from back then. Definitely. That's why I don't on a regular day. I don't train abs. When I go and prep for a show, I do a little bit of core work and that's it. On a regular day, I never train abs. The only thing I would do is vacuum exercise when you suck your stomach in, that I always talk about, because I said. Also, the waist, if you train too much abs and use a lot of weight and your abs get really big, you get a very big waist, right? We don't want to, as a bodybuilder, we want a tiny waist. I'm not saying don't train abs, definitely do, but don't overdo that shit. Because first you got to lose the fat around your waist, then you get to work, if that is the case, if you need to. And if you don't want bigger muscles there, stick to core work. No weights, no nothing, just body weight work, core exercises. So I said, yeah, abs are made in the kitchen. You gotta get your nutrition right, because now I know 100% what I need to do in my diet to be state shape. That's why, no, that's not the only reason, but I don't do cardio for show. I don't do any cardio. And to be honest, it drives me crazy sometimes because I like to move. So it's kind of a pain in the ass, but I don't want to eat more food than I do because I need to eat so much to maintain this piece of shit body. So my waist gets big because I eat so much also. So if I do the cardio, my body starts burning off the muscle. So for competing, I don't do cardio. Also my body's kind of a mystery that way. So I said, the more years go by, I grow more muscle, my body burns more, which is also why I have to keep increasing my food all the time. These days I eat over 3,000 calories to maintain. 10 years ago, obviously I couldn't eat 3,000 calories. That changes the more muscle you grow. But I'm pretty sure that my body always needed a lot of food, and I always been a binge eater. My whole life I've been a binge eater. Wow.
That's interesting. That's crazy. And it's funny because I was actually going to touch base on the ab exercises and how it does increases your midsection if you put weights on abs. That's why I never train abs either. I train abs like hanging, what's that called again? My goodness.
Leg raises?
Yeah, leg raises and things like that. But that's about it. I don't do anything crazy.
The vacuums are my best friend because it's the only core exercise that I feel like actually really helps tighten my waist and make it look smaller. Because also it gets easier and easier to keep it tight and hold it in without putting too much effort into it. So I do a lot of vacuums, and I know because of how I'm shaped, because of how I used to train when I was younger, my waist, I don't have a big waist, but I'm also not a curvy person. So my waist always look big, and I don't like that. So obviously what I'm trying to do is grow wider size on the top and wider size on the bottom. Also, I don't have any hips, so I do the best I can to try to grow so much muscle so they start sticking out on the sides for my glutes. So I don't do a lot of lateral exercises like sideways for glutes to try to create some sort of fake hip, I said, we're all different. You just got to train for what you have. And I've just learned what I need to do, what works for me. But also every now, I still have my favorite things I like to do. Like I love to train heavy back. I have a really big back and I know that. And it's a little overpowering compared to my butt and my legs. And I know that, but I try to go easy, but every now and then I have to go in and just beast it out. Because
so let me ask you a question
happy,
on since we're getting in that subject, I feel like my weakest part of my, not weakest, I can't say weakness, but my physique in terms of when I look at it, I know that I can get a bigger back.
Yep.
So do you think that it makes sense to lift heavier, or does it make sense to really isolate the muscle when you're trying to get a bigger, thicker back?
I think you should do both. I think that you should do more percentage, high repetition, time under tension, but you should be go heavy as well. Also, I said we're people on a not normal level.
Yeah.
You know, so it's different. I say if you're like if you were a beginner and you didn't have the amount of muscle you already have, I would tell you differently. But I know you, and I know that, and you should be doing both.
Yeah, I've noticed a big difference, and especially I think it was like last year or 2 years ago, when I started really training back more, because obviously when you start looking at your body, like, oh, I can get this bigger. Oh, this needs to change.
Also do it twice a week.
Yeah, twice a week.
Yeah,
definitely do it.
Week.
I definitely agree. And then also pull-ups make a big difference, and it definitely widens up your back for sure. I think Arnold, he was the one that kind of like started with the wide pull-ups.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I do a lot of lat pull downs, like the cable, but the pull ups, like my body, I can't do it because of my tear in my shoulder. So I can't, like my arm doesn't even move in that direction. It kind of sucks because I used to love to do them.
And another thing, and just touching base on the nutrition aspect of training, that is 80% of training. I mean, 80% of your results are going to come from food. And that's something that I didn't know at the time. I was like, eating a whole pizza. I used to, you know what I used to do?
What?
You're gonna laugh. I remember there were certain days I'd eat a whole box of pizza before I go to the gym. Literally a large pizza.
Yo, I would eat once a week when I actually knew how to do things right. Once a week was my go-to. I would snuggle with my dog. I would buy a bottle of wine, and I would eat a large family-sized pizza and a dozen donuts.
A dozen donuts with see. I've never. You eat.
This is all in one sitting.
Oh my god.
That would be my once a week. Oh no, I looked fucking great back then. But once a week.
Yeah, once a week. Me, it was I wouldn't eat pizza every day, but I do notice with you the way you eat like 5 men, like 5 grown ass men in one. Yeah, I know. I could have, back in the day, I probably could have out-eaten you because I used to eat a lot, and I think that's changed. But
I can eat less now than I used to be able to do, believe it or not.
Less.
No, because I'm actively trying to not do that because it's not good.
Like of course not.
It was I kind of thought, so I had a friend of mine who he preaches this whole flexible dieting thing. And he asked me once, why are you not doing flexible dieting? I said, because I can't. And he's like, why don't you try? And I said, the problem is that if I have one bite, that food addict inside of me, she wakes up and I can't control myself anymore. And I know myself so well. That's why, it's happened. Now when I'm on prep, I mean, fuck no, it can't happen. But on times when I'm like not really into prep fully, but I'm still trying to eat clean, it does happen sometimes. And I'm just like, I'm photographing like a food project or something, and I have this piece of chocolate and I'm like, I can have one piece. Yeah. And I was like, and then in my head it's like, don't do it, Max. Don't do it. I was like, I can't have one piece. I can do it. And she's in there. She's like, Max, you know what's going to happen? Yeah. And then I have that one piece. And then 4 hours later, in a blur, I had 4 chocolate bars and 2 pizzas and 2 burgers and then 15 cookies. And I was like, shit, what just happened? Yeah. I'm not, it's like, I was like, wait. What just happened? Like, I don't even remember what the fuck just happened.
Now, you knowing that is your weakness, right?
Yeah.
And then you stated earlier that you would have a cheat meal once a week.
I can do that.
You could do that. So going,
But that's what I'm saying. The rest of the 6 days, if I have one bite, because I can wake up in the morning, it's a new day, I'm perfectly fine. As long as I make it through that whole day without having a bite of something bad, I'll be fine.
No,
but
I get
if I
it.
have one bite of something, I'm screwed.
No, I get that. I'm saying, okay, so obviously throughout the week, you're eating clean. If you're not prepping, of course, you're still prepping in a sense.
Yeah.
So let's say you're not competing right now and you're still going to be prepping throughout the week, but then you have one cheat day where you could eat 4 of those chocolate bars, or you don't do that.
Oh, yeah. I will eat everything I can get my hands on that planned out cheat day. That's what it's for. I will eat until I pass out. Yeah. Until I'm just like, oh, I don't want anymore.
Got you. So that's your way of kind of
But let's say this. Let's say I woke up the day after. That's what's it. And let's just make up a scenario. Like, let's say I wake up the day after and I ate all that food and I'm like, I don't want any more food. I wake up and there for some weird reason would be like a piece of a chocolate bar left and I would have that. Then it would be a second day of cheating.
A second day of cheating?
Oh, it would be a second day of cheating. So I don't like to have things at home that are visible to me. And I do food photography, so it's hard sometimes. That's also when I go on competition prep, like when I commit to something, I fucking commit to something.
Yeah, of course.
So when I go on prep, I am on prep. There is no breaking that.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, you have to. If you're going to be the best,
you got to
there
train.
is no stepping outside of that.
You got to train and you got to eat.
So I have, when I'm on prep, that's why, I mean, call me fucking boring, but there will be my friends that be like, oh, we're going to go do this, so we're going to go out for dinner. No, we're not, I'm not doing it. So many people in my lives have like come and gone because they don't understand that. No, I don't want to fucking do anything. Leave me the fuck alone. Like, I will work, I'm training, I need to have my routine, I sleep these hours, I eat my food to this and yada, yada, yada. I'm a boring fucking person, but I love this. I love my life.
And it's not even just that. Like, one thing that I cannot stand is when you're on prep and someone's like, oh, you can't even eat a little bit. You can't even get a little bite. They don't understand that one bite, it's not that we can't have that one bite. No, fuck that. You can't have that one bite because you're just gonna throw everything off, because especially when you've been so consistent in your diet, your body's already immune to how you're eating, and any little thing like that would literally throw the entire. I remember. I even give you an example. When I was doing my last show, and it's insane how your coach always knows when you fucking cheat.
Oh,
Dude.
Well, that means if you have a good coach, they should know.
And literally, I only had 2 cookies. 2 cookies prior to me seeing him the next day, and we were like, posing and all that. And he was like, something's off. I'm like, what do you mean? And I knew. Yeah. I knew what it was. And he was like, did you cheat? I'm like, well, not really. I mean, I had two cookies. And he was like, nah, man, you fucked everything up. Like, you can't do that. No. You can't do that. Mm-mm. Like, and it's interesting how, like, you see it immediately. Yep. Immediately. Your stomach gets bloated, especially with all the sugar, the lactose, water retention, all that. And he was like, yeah, something's off. Like, what the hell's going on? So
there's so many things though that can mess around with that. So I said, you just have to learn your body, because I said, I can have a day of cheat meal. And I've learned that when I have a really bad cheat day, I don't retain a lot of water the day after, but 2 days after. But I've learned that. I learned that's how my body works. So 2 days after my cheat, I look bad. Yeah. So I know this now. So when I do it, I know what's going to happen, So at this point also, I have a lot of food sensitivity. So I've decided that I can have cheats, but I won't on the prep now, because my stomach gets inflamed. And if I do I would do refeeds. Basically, I will just make my cheat meal. I will cook it at home myself, because I do not want to have inflamed gut, because it's going to show, and it's very annoying, and there is cross-contamination to fucking I hate my food sensitivities, but that's just how it is, and I have to live with them. So I can't eat gluten, no chicken, no eggs, no vanilla, no cashews, and a bunch of other stuff. So I just have to be very careful. So no more eating out. That's also a thing that has kind of made it easier for me to not eat a bunch of shit because I know how angry my stomach's gonna get. So I said, I can make my own. Don't call it healthy, because I remember when I was younger. So these days I actually like things with sugar sometimes. But when I was younger, when I first came to the States, I didn't like donuts. I didn't peanut butter. I thought that was that's like a fat person food. You know, what's going on? So I wouldn't be eating any of this. So, you know, my cheat meals back in the days would be nuts, like raw nuts. And my friends would call me crazy. They're like, that's not a cheat. Like, that's just a raw, unsalted nut. But let me tell you, when you go to Costco and you buy a family-sized bag of nuts, do you know how many calories is in there?
Oh, yeah.
What, 10,000?
Yeah.
Do you know how much fat
I used to do that at work.
So I said, don't come to me and tell me that's not a cheat. That's probably a worse cheat than eating a dozen donuts, to be honest.
Yeah, because you're eating a bunch of fat.
I'm probably eating more fat than a fucking donut. The donuts have.
Yeah.
And I said, carbs are not the fucking devil. When you go out and eat in a restaurant, it's not the potato in the French fries that is the bad guy. It's the oil. It's the fat. So people are like, oh, carbs are bad. No, bitch. No. Fat is bad for you.
And they cook with a ton of canola oil, and canola is
bitch
terrible.
Man and bitch.
It is terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. Is somebody wanting to come in? What are you looking at?
Yeah, he's actually going to be filming with us.
Oh. So, we're filming a video after.
We're actually right on time.
Oh, cool. So, okay, we're going to wrap up soon.
Yes.
By the way, you just have to learn how your body works. I've learned, like, I know my body so well. And I said, it's almost crazy. I can't even remember how it was before this. When I train, I am so aware of my body. Like every day I wake up, and I'm talking for you too, like we're so aware. I know immediately if I'm retaining a little bit of water. All I need to do is throw one eye in the mirror for a second, and I will know immediately if something is off.
I literally just waved because I hold water the next day. The next day, if I'm
eating. But it can also be other things in life. If you stress, you can retain water.
Course, yeah,
if you don't sleep well, you can retain water.
Yeah.
I'm a woman. If I have my period, I retain water. Or if I fly. That's why when I fly, my body gets so angry.
Yeah. I thought you,
I have wings. I'm just like a bird.
Like, what? Flying.
I'm like a bird.
Like, where are you flying?
So yeah, I know. So when I compete in Las Vegas now in August, for example, I fly out a whole week in advance to be safe because I know my body's gonna get angry from being up in the air.
Yeah.
So there are all of these little things, you know. And I said when there's like a new person that's going to compete or something, it's like all of these little things you don't think about. Like everything matters. The same. I am super anal about sleeping my freaking hours when I'm on prep. I can't sleep 3 hours. It doesn't work. Like I need my fucking 7 hours at least. When I did my first show, I slept 9 hours. That was great. That's probably why I got so damn lean. So I said, people come to me and like, ooh, you were so lean. Oh, you're so lucky. Your genetics, or you're taking shit. I'm not taking shit, and it's not my fucking genetics. I am just 100% on point with every breath I take. That's what's up. If you stick to your prep 100% the way I do, you're gonna fucking reach your damn goals too.
You're gonna see results right. You're gonna see results right away. Because one thing that this happened to me yesterday. I was on TikTok live, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and some guy comes in the chat, and we started talking about training because she's also an online coach, and you know we started talking about training, and then he was talking about exercise, and he immediately went to my page, and he was like, "Hey, bro, are you natural?" I'm like, "What does that have to do with how I look physically?" I understand like where he's coming from, but I could tell when I went to his page that he's lifting, but his nutrition is just horrendous. It's horrible. Like you guys don't understand. Like when I was like in my early 20s and I started training like a warrior and eating properly, my body was insane because I started counting calories
Yeah.
and lifting 5 days a week and taking 2 rest days. Sometimes I would train 6 days a week, and sometimes I would even train twice a day because I was just so obsessed with the gym. And but yeah, I mean, people don't understand what type of mindset you have to have to look a certain way. And I think that they think that they can just go to the gym. I eat clean. I don't eat dirty. I'm like, yeah, but you're not counting your calories. So every single day you're eating something different.
Oh my God, I hear
that's
this
affecting. Yes, it's affecting your body.
Day almost.
You're not looking this. You're not. There's a difference between losing weight and sculpting your body. Yeah. Anyone could sit there and lose weight and be on a deficit. And of course, the less calories you eat, you're gonna lose weight.
People. Yeah, eat healthy. But what are you eating? Please tell me.
Exactly.
Oh, but I'm eating. Chicken and avocado and salad. Where the fuck is your carb?
Yeah.
Like, how are you even functioning? You don't understand. Or the same. Some people are like, oh, I just ate an avocado. That's healthy. Yeah, but that's a lot of fat. How much avocado did you eat? It's not about just because you ate a healthy. That's why everybody thought when I would eat 10,000 calories worth of nuts, that's not healthy, bitch. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You gotta understand the difference. Yes, I'm not eating sugar, but that doesn't mean the same. Have you ever seen, there's a TV show where they it's like really overweight people. They take everything they eat in a day and put it out on a table. Yeah. And there's this woman, not kidding, all she eats is salad. But when they laid out the amount of salad she ate, she could feed a whole country. I'm like, no wonder you are fat. You're eating like vegetables and like proteins and like lettuce and stuff, but I'm not kidding, you can fill up the whole room.
It's a whole field of.
I'm like, what is going on here right now?
Is it a whole field of lettuce?
Seriously, it was like. I'm like, no, but this woman was like obese, and there was like the video team, they followed the people like for a whole week, and she no, not kidding, she's actually only eating salads, that's all, but she's eating so much of it. Or the same, people eat too little and their bodies start holding on to fat to fucking save them from not dying. Like that's what your body does. It's a natural way for your body to try to protect you so you don't die. So under eating, if you're gonna burn off all your body fat, you gotta definitely not undereat and not overeat. It's a very fine line there. Like you gotta figure out exactly correct. You can't just be on under. That's not how it works.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from Miss.
We haven't laughed as much today as we usually do.
No, I mean we were zoning in.
Now we're just screaming.
I want to say you just heard it from the best, Miss Bikini, 2022 Miss Bikini,
and
World
2020.
And 2020. Don't forget, World Champion.
Never World Champion, but thanks.
You're going to be World Champion.
Oh, this year.
Come on now, come on. You already know manifestation.
Yes, I just had this pep talk with a girl this morning. I was like, when you win.
That's right.
When you win. She's like, that word doesn't exist in your vocabulary anymore.
So we're going to go ahead and wrap up now.
Yes,
and
we don't have time.
Yeah, we don't have more time.
I'm about to slip into my latex.
That's right. We're about to go ahead and shoot this video real quick. But shout out to everyone that's been listening to the podcast. And again, I shout out to Ideal Nutrition.
Send us messages of what we should talk about.
Yeah, shout out to Ideal Nutrition for providing my meals. And shout out to
Max West for cooking your own food.
And there you have it. Thank you guys. Until next time. Tune again.